Okay, so let's dive in. Today, we're unpacking this really powerful idea, one that grabbed our attention. How our own character, our inner makeup, can actually be our best shield against, well, against adversity. It's
Hmm.
kind of a game-changing way to look at it, right? That your deepest self is your strongest defense. We're pulling this from an excerpt called Unleashing Your Inner Strength, How Building Good Character Protects You from Your Enemies.
Hmm.
It's part of a larger piece, Character as Shield, Inner Strength Against Adversity by Mark over at the Knowledge is King site. Really insightful stuff. So our mission today in this deep dive is to really get into how building good character does more than just, protect us, how it guards against negative vibes or people trying to bring us down, but also, and this is key, how it actually transforms us into better people. We want to break down that argument.
Yeah, it's a fascinating premise to start with because Mark's article, it doesn't jump straight to external threats, which is where our minds usually go first. Instead, it suggests that adversaries can only really leverage the weaknesses, the negative bits that are already inside us. And that just flips the whole script, doesn't it? Suddenly, it's not about building walls outside, but strengthening your core inside. It makes this whole discussion vital for anyone wanting real, lasting resilience. The power starts within. It's quite a perspective shift.
That's exactly what hooks you. The article basically says, look, your vulnerabilities, they aren't just out there. Often they're in here. So it's less about what someone does to you and more about what weakness inside you they can latch onto. It feels almost psychological for such a practical topic. What sort of internal cracks are we talking about here? What could someone exploit?
That's a really good question. It's not just vague flaws. Mark's talking about specific things. Think about, say, our insecurities. If you secretly doubt yourself, it's pretty easy for someone to undermine your confidence, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Or maybe a big ego that makes you open to flattery, maybe blinds you to what someone's really after. Things like resentment or fear, old hurts we haven't dealt with. These are like emotional soft spots. If we don't look at them, they become openings for manipulation or just plain malice. The enemy doesn't create the weakness. They just, well, they sense it and target it. So the battlefield really does start inside. Knowing yourself is the first step.
Wow, that really makes you pause.
Yeah.
It's not about blaming yourself, like you said, but knowing yourself
Yeah.
makes you think, what hidden fears or old wounds might I have that someone could, poke at? But okay, someone might argue, surely really big external things can hit hard no matter your character. Does the article suggest character can totally negate like a massive external blow?
That's a fair point and an important distinction. The article isn't saying character makes you magically immune to bad things happening. Life throws curveballs. Always. What it is saying, and this is crucial, is that your internal state dictates how those external things affect you, how you process them.
Okay.
So imagine a setback hits someone riddled with insecurity. It might crush them, send them spiraling, but that exact same setback hits someone with strong inner character. Maybe they see it as a challenge, a temporary hurdle, something to learn from.
Right. Same event, different reaction.
Exactly. The external event is identical, but the internal response, the resilience, it's worlds apart. So it's about negating the intended destructive impact, not necessarily the event itself.
That's a really helpful clarification.
Yeah.
So, okay, the article sees these potential inner weaknesses, but it doesn't just leave us there feeling exposed. It offers a powerful solution, right? Equipping ourselves with good character. How does that work? How does good character become this shield? What's the mechanism?
Yeah, and this is where it gets really profound. Mark explains that if we cultivate a strong moral compass and a genuinely positive outlook, then attempts to harm us, they just don't land. They prove fruitless.
Why they bounce off?
In a way, yes. It's like an active defense, an immune system for your spirit almost. If someone tries to cause trouble with lies, but you live with integrity, those lies just don't stick because your actions consistently prove them wrong. If they try to demoralize you, but you have inner strength, you don't give them that emotional hook they're looking for. It's not about dodging physical hits. It's about having this like internal consistency, this steadfastness that just doesn't give them leverage for manipulation or malice or emotional damage. You become less permeable to their negativity.
So it's not just some fuzzy idea of being nice.
Yeah.
It's actually a strategic internal defense system. And the article gets specific, right? It gives us the ingredients for this shield. What are those core traits Mark highlights?
He's very clear. He points to 3 specific traits that make up the shield. Honesty, integrity, and resilience. And each one isn't just a nice quality to have. It works in a specific way as a defense, especially against attacks targeting those inner weaknesses.
Okay, let's break those down. Honesty first. How does that shield us?
Okay, honesty. It's not just about telling the truth to others, though that builds trust. It's fundamentally about being honest with yourself. This prevents self-deception and makes you much harder for others to manipulate.
How so?
Well, if you're consistently honest, transparent in your dealings, there's no hidden agenda for an enemy to expose, no secret weakness they can exploit. When your truth is out there, consistently, attempts to spread lies or twist things about you, they just don't gain traction.
Right, because your actions match your words.
Exactly. Your verifiable truth becomes your anchor.
Yeah.
Falsehoods just kind of fall flat against it. You're not giving anyone ammunition based on your own deceit or inconsistencies.
That's a much deeper take on honesty. It's about that internal consistency, creating like a smooth surface nothing can stick to.
Precisely. Then there's integrity.
Okay.
Integrity creates that unshakable inner core. It means doing the right thing consistently, even when it's hard, even when nobody's looking, even if it seems against your immediate interests.
Like sticking to your principles.
Exactly. It's about being whole, undivided. Your actions align with your deepest values. When you have that, external pressures to compromise, they just don't find purchase. An offer of shady gain, a temptation to cut corners ethically, it doesn't appeal because it would fundamentally break your sense of self. You stand firm, not because you're stubborn, but because your internal compass is strong and clear. It makes you incredibly hard to corrupt or coerce. Your core won't bend.
So it's not just resisting temptation. It's like the temptation isn't even truly tempting because the cost to your inner self, your integrity, is just too high. That's powerful.
It really is. And the third one is resilience.
Right, bouncing back.
Well, yes, but it's more than just bouncing back like a ball. It's almost like it transforms the meaning of the hit. Adversity happens, that's life. But someone resilient sees setbacks not as the end of the story, but as temporary obstacles or even data, information for growth.
Okay, like learning from mistakes.
Exactly. Think about a time you faced a big challenge, maybe at work or personally. Did it define you? Or did you analyze it, learn, adapt? Resilience, the article suggests, changes the story of adversity from I'm defeated to, okay, what's the lesson here? How do I grow? It robs the enemy's blow of its power to demoralize you long term. So
Interesting.
even if they manage to land a hit, you recover, learn, and actually get stronger from it. You essentially neutralize their long-term impact by turning their attack into fuel for your own progress.
That is so vivid. Okay, so it's like building this internal suit of armor. Honesty is the clear visor. You see things clearly, others see you clearly, no distortions, no blind spots for attacks.
Yeah, good analogy.
Integrity is a core metal, right? Unbending steel holding it all together so outside forces can't just reshape you.
Mm-hmm.
And resilience. That's like the shock absorption, the flexibility. It lets you take the hits, maybe stumble, but keep moving, keep learning, not shatter.
That sums it up beautifully. It's not about avoiding pain. It's about being spiritually impenetrable. Not avoiding the fight, but ensuring you emerge stronger.
But the article stresses it's not just about having these traits like you're born with them or not. It's about building them actively, constantly. So what's the plan? How do we actually forge this shield? How does the construction happen?
Mark is very clear. This isn't passive. You don't just wake up with good character. It's an active daily thing, self-creation, self-refinement. He uses the phrase constantly working on improving ourselves and cultivating good character.
So an ongoing journey.
Absolutely. It's a continuous process, a commitment to growth that doesn't really end. It's not a one-and-done achievement. It's practice, daily practice.
Can you give an example? Like how would you practice honesty?
Well, maybe it's about doing a little self-check each day. Where could I have been more truthful today, even in small ways? Or consciously choosing to say the uncomfortable truth when it's easier to just let it slide.
Okay, intentional choices.
Exactly. For integrity, maybe it's about deliberately putting yourself in situations that test your principles not to fail, but to consciously choose the right, maybe harder path. Saying no to something tempting but dodgy, even if no one would know.
Right, strengthening that muscle.
Precisely. And for resilience, it's about actively reframing setbacks. Instead of just feeling bad, intentionally asking, okay, what did I learn? How does this make me stronger for next time? It involves self-compassion too, but also holding yourself accountable for growth. They're small, consistent, daily choices not grand gestures.
That is such an empowering way to think about it. It makes it so clear that this is in our control. We're not just, pushed around by circumstances. With the architects of our character, we're sculpting our own shield. That sense of agency, knowing you can actively build this strength, that's huge. We have the tools, we just need to use them. And this is really important too. The article points out this amazing side effect, right? A secondary benefit that's maybe even bigger than just defense. It's not only about protecting ourselves.
You're absolutely right. That's a critical point. It's not just defense. The article highlights this dual benefit. We not only safeguard ourselves from the attacks of our enemies, but we also become better individuals overall.
The virtuous cycle.
Exactly. That's the perfect term. By working on our character being more honest, acting with integrity, building resilience, we naturally build that shield. But the very act of doing that, of striving for those virtues, it elevates us as people. Our growth isn't just a reaction to threats. It enhances who we are fundamentally. It leads to more peace, more self-respect, more effectiveness in everything we do. So seeking defense leads you down a path to personal excellence. It's like training for a marathon. And even if you never run the race, you've become healthier and stronger.
That's a brilliant way to put it. So this incredibly powerful core message from Mark, our character, it's in our hands. By choosing to strengthen it, by actively working on these virtues, we can handle pretty much any negative influence someone throws our way. It's about owning who you are and who you want to become and building that inner fortress, brick by conscious brick. What a powerful thought for you, the listener, to reflect on your strongest defense is already inside you, just waiting to be forged. So just to quickly recap our deep dive today, drawing on Mark's insights from the Knowledge is King site. We started with the idea that enemies often exploit weaknesses already inside us, insecurities, fears, ego. But the brilliant counter is that good character built on honesty, integrity, and resilience acts as this ultimate internal shield. And it's not static. We forge it through constant, deliberate self-improvement. Daily choices.
That active cultivation.
Yes. And in doing that, we don't just protect ourselves. We actually become better, stronger, more integrated people overall.
Ultimately, like the article concludes, it's not just about shielding from enemies. It's really about becoming the best version of yourself. It flips the whole focus from reacting to threats to proactively developing who you are. The path to being truly invulnerable isn't higher walls outside, it's stronger foundations inside. So here's something to think about. If your character is in your control and strengthening it unlocks your best self, what single character trait, maybe honesty, maybe integrity, maybe resilience, or something else will you choose to consciously work on starting today? Knowing it's both your best defense and your greatest path to becoming who you want to be, how will you make that real in your daily life?
That is a truly profound question to sit with, and it really captures the spirit of what we do here on the Deep Dive. We really encourage you to continue your own exploration of this, reflect on these powerful traits, and think about how you can strengthen your own inner shield, not just for defense, but for your own transformation. Thanks so much for joining us on the Deep Dive. We'll be back soon with more insights to explore.